Okay, guys, so I want to show you the website that I was talking about in class the other day called Graspable Math. So there's a link in Google Classroom for our assignment. The one I'm going to show you now is kind of just an example. Your problems in your assignment are going to be very similar to the ones in this assignment, just the numbers are different. Okay. So when you click on the link, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a web page that says Join Session. Probably have a different code up there, but it asks for a student code. I've also attached a Google Sheet that has your code in it. So you would just go to that Google Sheet, open it up, and this is a list. This is just my everybody from second period, but I also put myself in here as well. So Greg G, and my code is 1358, but everybody's is different. Okay, so you just go in and you type in that code 1358 for me. Hit join. Okay, so when it pops up, it kind of looks like this. And as you see, when you scroll down, my camera here is in the way. I'm going to move that over here to the other side. There we go. You'll see that there's a submit button as well. Okay, so the first thing it asks me to do, up here it gives the question. It says solve for gravity. Okay, over on the left-hand side is all the different questions. So there's 7 different questions on here to choose, to go through. But the first one says solve for gravity. So to solve for gravity, I got to get gravity by itself. So I don't want to move gravity because I want that one to be all by itself. So I'm going to move the m. Okay, and when I go to move it, it gives me a couple different choices. I could try to put it up top here. It's not going to let me do that though. Okay, this program is pretty smart. It knows how to solve algebraic expressions. So in a situation like this m is being multiplied to the g. So the only way to get rid of it is to divide it on both sides. And so when I bring it to the other side, it's only going to allow me to divide. Okay, so now I know G is equal to the force of gravity, Fw, divided by the mass. Okay, and that's how I would solve it. So G is by itself. There are no numbers in this, and that's fine. So we can leave it just the way that it is. And I would just go down to the bottom and I hit submit. Okay. Next problem, it takes you right to the next problem here. And the question is listed up here at top. Find the weight of a 100 kilogram astronaut on Earth. So we're looking for the weight, which is the force of gravity, Fw. So in this situation, I've got m equals 100. Okay, that's 100 kilogram astronaut. And gravity on Earth is 9.8. So to solve this, all I have to do is take my letter m and drag it and put it into the m that's in the equation. So now that changes it to a 100. And then I just take my g. I drag my g into where the g is there. Okay, so now it's set it up. Now the problem with this is it's only showing the numbers here. I still want to see the formula. So what I can do is I can take this and drag it down so that I can see each of the steps. So this shows me that I put the 100 in place of the m, and I put the 9.8 in place of the g. Okay. Now all I have to do is click each of the parentheses, kind of get rid of the parentheses. Okay, I'm not quite sure why they have it that way, but that's the way it works. Okay, and then I hit the multiplication symbol here to get these numbers to multiply. So I hit that, and it gives me my answer. Okay, and you can see all the steps in that process. Okay, so once I get that number answer, I can go ahead and hit submit. Brings me to the third question. Okay, it says a backpack weighs 16.4 newtons and has a mass of 10 kilograms on the moon. What is the strength of gravity on the moon? So we're looking for G in this case. So I take my Fw and I plug that right into the Fw in the equation. I take my m and I plug that into my m in the equation here. So now I need to solve for G. So I got to get G by itself. So since it's 10 times G, how I would get rid of it is I'd have to divide both sides by G. Okay, and I'm going to take this and I'm just going to drag it to the other side. Oh, wait, sorry. It won't let me do it because the parentheses are there. I don't know why they have you go through that step, but I'm going to go through that step. And let me also drag it out so I can see. And I'm going to move my 10 over. Now it lets me divide by 10. Not sure of why the parentheses situation is like that, but that's the way it is. So then we hit the division symbol here. Oh, wait, got to get rid of my parentheses again. and then I hit my division. Oh, double tap. Sorry. If you notice when I was clicking that up here, it kept saying to double tap. So again, I don't always understand the steps with this, but it allows you to see. Now here, I still want to see that extra step, so I'm going to drag this down so that I can see that extra step there, so I could see that I had to divide that 10. Okay, so when you're doing these problems, try to pull these down to make sure that we can see all the steps as you go through. Okay, so I hit submit again. Okay, so now I've got another problem. It says a physical science test book has a mass of 7 kilograms. Okay, so in this problem, there's 3 different parts, but the mass, no matter what, mass always stays the same. So it doesn't matter if it's on Jupiter, on Earth, on Pluto, it doesn't matter. The mass is always going to be the same. So the mass of the book is 7 kilograms. The gravity on Earth is 9.8. Gravity on Jupiter is 24.79. And they don't tell us the gravity on Pluto because that's what we're going to be solving for there. So for A, it says, what is the weight on Earth? So I take my M, I drag my M over to the M that's in the problem. Okay, so that gives me my 7. I've got my gravity of Earth. I'm going to plug that in here. Okay, so now I've got my equation here. FW equals 7 times 9.8. I'm going to drag this down so that way I can see my formula. And now, again, I'm going to click to get rid of my parentheses here. And then I've got my multiplication. Click that, and it gives me my answer. So my answer, my weight on Earth was 68.6. The unit is newtons. Every time we have force, it's going to be newtons. This program doesn't let you put in units. Okay, the next part, B, what is the weight on Jupiter? So now, again, I want to find the weight, but this time on Jupiter. So I'm still going to plug in my 7 because mass does not change. Okay. And then I'm going to plug in my G. Oops, I see a typo here. That should say Jupiter, not Mars, but that's all right. I'm going to plug that in there. So now it lets me put the number in. Good. Okay, so now I multiply through 7 times 24.79, and I get that. And I forgot to put in all my equations, so if I just drag it down, I can see all my steps. Oops, there we go. Okay, it even showed that I had to replace the G Mars with G Jupiter, but that was my typo mistake. Okay, and then the last one, if the textbook weighs 4.34 newtons on Pluto, what is the acceleration of gravity on Pluto? So this is the weight on Pluto, so I'm going to drag that into there. Okay, my mass is still 7. So I'm going to come back here, drag that there. Okay, and now I need to get G Pluto by itself. So I need to get rid of my parentheses first. I'm going to move my 7 over to the other side. It's going to let me divide. Okay, I got to get rid of my parentheses again there. And then I click, and it's going to tell me up here, if you see, it says try to double tap. So I got to double tap my line, and that gives me my division problem. So the acceleration of gravity on Pluto is 0.62, and that would be meters per second squared. Okay, so now in this problem, it's going to have you start to do more and more on your own. So it says, what is the force on a 15 kilogram ball that is falling freely due to the pull of gravity? Okay, so first thing I want to do is write down or create an inventory. So in this section over here where it says insert, you're going to insert a math expression. Okay, so you put in a math expression. And my first number that I'm given is 15 kilograms. Okay, that's a mass. So I'm going to say M equals 15. Okay, throws it right on there for you. The other bit of information that's not being told here, but we're going to assume that's on Earth. Whenever it doesn't give it to us, we're going to always assume that it's on Earth. And we're going to say math expression again, G equals 9.8. So now we've got the mass and we've got the gravity, and they want to know what the force is. So in order to get the force, we have to say, okay, F. And if you wanted to put a little W there, if you see this letter down here, it says X to the N, we push that, and we can put W. Okay, that tells us that it's weight equals mg. Okay. And you can keep them just the way that they are right here. I could rearrange if I want. I could click rearrange, and I can move this over if I want, just so it's all kind of together. But it's up to you. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So now I'm going to click, I think keyboard. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I click keyboard. I'm not sure why, but that brings me here. So I'm going to do M. I'm going to drag my M. Oh, wait, that's not right. Transform, maybe? Ah, there we go. So it's got to be clicked on transform. And then we take our G, and we move our G into that spot there. Okay, I get rid of my parentheses. Okay, and now I can multiply the numbers by pushing the multiplication. And it gives us our answer. And again, to see my steps, I can just drag that circle down, and that allows me to see all my steps. Okay, and we go ahead and we hit submit. Okay. And we got two more that are like this. It says, what is the mass of a person who weighs 700 newtons? Okay, so 700 newtons, that's a force. We're just going to say F equals 700. Oh, I forgot my subscript thing. So I'm going to put a little W there. There we go. Okay. And again, it's on Earth, so G is going to be 9.8. And then the last thing we're going to add is my formula. FW equals, oops. Did you see when I hit equals here, it's down with the W? So what you have to do is you have to hit the arrow to the right, and that will bring it back up again. And then you hit equals, and then it is M times G. So now I can just plug everything in. I'll keep it over here this time. So I just take my FW, I plug that in. Whoops. Make sure it's in the right spot there. There we go. And then I got my G. And now I'm going to move my, I'm going to get rid of my parentheses first, and then I'm going to move my 9.8 to the other side by division. Okay. Get rid of those parentheses, hit my little, oh, I got a double tap, and now there's my answer. And again, I can take this little circle and drag it down to see all my steps. Okay, and I can even go further if I wanted to. There we go. Okay, and then we hit submit. And then the last problem here says a spaceship has a mass of 7,000 kilograms. So let me insert my mass equals 7,000. And the spaceship is launched from Earth and lands on a distant planet where it has a weight of 475,000 newtons. So now I can put in my weight, which is FW. And again, you have to hit this little arrow to bring it up so you can equals. Okay, and now it's 475,000. Okay. Always double check your zeros and make sure you got the same number of zeros as what's in the problem. Okay, and then it's the same formula. We do insert FW. Okay, get my arrow. There we go. Equals mg. Done. And now I take my m, I plug my m in. I'm going to plug my FW in. Okay. And I got to solve for g. So I got to get rid of my parentheses. And now I drag my 7,000 over. And I get 475,000 divided by 7,000. So I got to get rid of the parentheses. And now I have to, oh, that simplified it. And then to get the answer, you have to double tap. Okay, so that gives us our answer. So now we can drag that down. Oh, I don't know why I did that. That's why. I'm not sure why that number's there, but that's okay. Come on. I'm not sure why that number's there still, but you can see the problem. So now you just go down and you hit submit, and then you're all done. And that's it. And once you hit submit, it sends it over to us so that we can grade it. Okay. And again, this is just a learning experience for us to kind of get used to this program. I'm still learning it myself. As you can see, there's things I wasn't quite sure what to do or how to do it, especially at the end there. I couldn't even get that number, get rid of that number. But this is something that we're just learning how to do. It should be something that you can use even in your math classes. You could even go in and bring up the same canvas and do your own equations for other things as well if you just go to graspableMath.com. So